Well, shit.
Yes, I promise people we're not starting with the Morgana voice again. We got that out before we hit record this time.
Stross, man.
Yeah.
Why is it that every time you want to watch something like it's good, but it's just some sad ass motherfucking bullshit.
It's how I cope with the reality of the world, Sardo.
You make a salient point, my dear friend.
It's not my fault that a lot of good things also have to be incredibly depressing.
Fair enough.
Though it is the thing that keeps happening. I'll promise the next time we watch something after Akudama Drive that it won't be depressing.
Fair enough.
I like how I had to have the caveat. We haven't even introduced ourselves and I'm already making promises.
I'm gonna be real, I don't believe you, but okay.
Oh. Hi, everyone. I'm Stross here. That's Sardo. This is the Skeleton Crew podcast. Live and ready for action.
We're here.
We watched something this week because, well, we promised Cyberpunk, and it, in fairness, technically speaking, for me, if we're being fair, I was the one who said we had to watch the Doomstar Army of the Doomstar. That was fun. That had a happy ending.
Yeah. Good.
I'm 1 for 3, which is, by baseball terms, considered fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So yes, we watched more Edgerunners.
And it was a good time. Damn good show.
Still
Very,
good.
very impressive.
It's still good, Joker. Ah, you thought you were gonna escape it? No, you can't. But yeah, still sad, still depressing. So, surprise cyberpunk story.
Who would have thought that a cyberpunk dystopia would be so sad?
It was sad.
But
anyway,
it's been interesting so far. Strauss, take it away. Where did we start back
okay,
off
so
here?
we started back up on episode 5. We did episode 5 through 7.
Mm-hmm.
And the first episode was set up really for episode 6. If you've seen the series, you know exactly which 2 episodes these will end up being. Because this is where, after the failure of the of getting data from the limo, it ends up leading to them having to just nab the guy they're go after. His name is just Tanaka. We're just going to call him Tanaka. And so what they learn is that, oh, hey, he likes these things called brain dances, which are basically like getting movies directly implanted into your brain that you get to experience personally.
Yeah.
So those are fun. And
it's like VR if VR didn't suck.
It's like if VR didn't suck and could also hurt you.
Yes. So kind of sucks in a different way.
Sucks in a different way, but it's still better. Because it actually works. And isn't stupidly expensive. Key word. But, yeah, so that happens. And as they learn, because David happened to know stuff, that, oh, hey, I know who he gets his brain dances from, because I used to, I've seen some / this guy pushes it. And this was actually established in, the first episode. So it's like, oh, this is a little callback. It's
very nice.
It's a little callback, Sardo. Exciting.
Yeah.
And then, well, they go. So the first part of the job is, hey, let's nab the guy who gets the brain dances, because we know who that is. So eventually, Tanaka will just come to us, and so they do. But at the same time, we are starting to see that Main's kind of starting to lose it.
Doing so good.
He's not doing good. His brain case is not doing great.
Which, I mean, relatable.
Yeah, no, totally understandable situation. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that in this universe, if you kind of lose it, you could really lose it.
Because it's one thing to, have a mental breakdown. It's another when you are Jimmy Gun Hands,
Yeah,
the man made of guns.
yeah, it's one thing when you're, like me, and if I were to lose it, I just got normal people hands.
Yeah.
It's a bit different thing when you have a cannon in your arm. So yeah, and as we go, what happens is they get the guy, and it's like, oh, hooray, we got him. But a brain dance guy dies, which is a shame because he's kind of like, I feel like kind of your jam in terms of
Oh,
aesthetic.
I fucking hate how I hate that God fucking motherfucker. God damn it. Fucking titties. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, I knew it. Well, no, he's the perfect guy for you. He's a weird dandy man that looks weird.
He looks like a One Piece character.
He kind of does. He kind of
He has like
does.
he has a metal nose. He has like this weird facial hair deal. I'm not sure if it's facial hair or scarification plus metal plating. I don't know. He looks sick. He has a cool outfit. He's cool as shit, and he's very like, ooh,
Mm. Remember. But yeah, no, not to tease Sardo too much, but like I know a Sardo design when I see it.
that is
He was meant
rest
for you.
rest in peace, Jimmy. We love you, man. I
Yeah.
love you.
You didn't make it out of the end of the episode. Got hit by a needle to the throat, but you died in a really fun fashion. So it's not all bad.
And you fucked everybody over by dying because he had insurance.
Yeah. Really, the best way to sum up this Tanaka job, because it's really the first two episodes we watched, is first episode, things kind of go wrong. Like,
Mm-hmm.
first, Jimmy Kurosaka is what his name is, runs away by hitting everyone with an EMP, causing the character of Kiwi, who is the other Netrunner, to vomit from her lack of a face.
Oh, she blows hard chunks.
just like, and we should mention, for those who have not actually seen what her face looks like, there is no face underneath the mask.
She has like a metal mask thing going on, but there is just like a mask shaped hole under
Yeah.
it. It's
That
pretty
mask
sick,
is her
actually.
face. It's definitely something you would have loved to come up with.
It's cool. It's very cool.
It's a very like, oh, hails yeah, from you kind of thing. Because,
Yeah,
everyone here is kind of freaks and weirdos, which is our kind
that's
of
the
cup of
point.
tea. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, next, so that basically the first episode is basically nabbing Tanaka and all that goes with it,
Mm-hmm.
including the fact that Tanaka, much like his son, has like advanced martial arts chips.
Yeah,
But
he fisted the North Stars a couple of people.
but the problem is Maine is very large, and the moment he gets an opening, he just whacks him in the face.
If Maine hits you once, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, Maine's a very large man. But he's not scary because he's a good guy.
At least he's not scary until anyway.
Well, until episode 6. I would say, as someone who's watched this series before, episode 6 is the turning point, because
Mm-hmm.
like the next like 4 episodes, like the series shifts and a time skip happens.
Yeah.
But in this one, we started really seeing that, like, absolutely Maine's going off the deep end. Like, this opens up with, like, a much younger looking and much skinnier Maine, which you would disapprove of. You, in fact, like the fact that he became a large, hulking, bulking man.
Props to Maine for beefing up because he was a svelte young lad.
We should note, he wasn't, like, a twink. He was very much, like, pretty muscular as, like...
But he was athletic.
Yeah, he was, like, a runner, and now he's a chonker.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, and you love your chunky men. Yeah. It's an improvement.
But he's like basically hallucinating, having flashbacks to his younger self.
Seeing shit,
Mm-hmm.
getting angry at everyone. Cause like the one thing is about Maine, like Maine's like a bit short tempered. Like that's always
Yeah.
been a thing. And he does
Mm-hmm.
get mad, but like when we're introduced to Maine, like when David mentions his mother died, he's like, "Oh, sorry to hear that, man." But like genuinely sorry to hear that because she
Yeah.
knew him, he knew her, but also like Maine's a good guy deep down on the inside. Like there's one part in the first episode we watched
Yeah.
where he's talking to David. It's like, "Oh, did you get laid?" And it was so funny because it's like the animation's great because he just like inches closer every time. He's like,
Yeah.
eh.
It's like giving David some shit about it, and
But
it's cute.
in that way that like a father would give a son some shit about something like, oh, did you do something important in your life?
Mm.
And it's like that's who Maine was, but as we see, like as he starts losing it, like all this, like one of the things in Cyberpunk, it's like as a game system is that chroming out, as it's called, like puts a lot of tax on your mental state
Yeah.
because it's like you start kind of losing it when your body starts doing shit your brain wasn't designed to process,
Yeah.
which makes sense. We could argue whether or not that's ableist or not, but I get it. It's like you replace a leg, it's a leg. But you replace a leg so it could shoot rockets, it's probably gonna fuck with your head a little bit.
Yeah. It's the point where like you have become like more machine than human, and that's going to kind of fuck with your brain, especially since a lot of the cybernetics involve stuff with the brain.
Yeah, stuff with the brain, like it has to be attached to like a Neuralink or a nerve system, and it's just like you gotta like tear shit out, put it in. It's probably also just like a lot of, and as we see with like David in the first episode, it's not exactly what one would call, uh, like just you go in and go out type of situation.
Yeah.
It kind of fucks with your head just a little bit, but as we go on, Maine lost to the point where he beats the shit out of Kiwi.
Mm-hmm.
And we also get our first introduction to a new character called Falco. He's got a
Yeah.
mustache.
He's kind of a cowboy, kind of a gentlemanly type. I like
Yeah.
Falco.
You like Falco. He's voiced by Matt Mercer.
Yeah.
Very obviously voiced.
It's
He's got the
it's
Matt
high
Mercer.
noon.
Yeah, he's
It's
got the
high
high
noon somewhere in the world.
It's high noon somewhere. He's got the cowboy voice to a T.
Yeehaw.
Hee-haw. But, like, Maine's losing to the point where he doesn't even realize what's going on anymore. Like, clearly there's something wrong with him. And everyone's getting short-tempered. Like, Dorio's mad. David's mad. Kiwi's unconscious, but she'd probably be pretty pissed.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because she just got her face punched off.
Yeah. Her face can come off. That can be punched off, people.
Yeah.
You can get your face punched off, Sardo.
Clean off.
Clean off, even. But what happens is, so Lucy doesn't want to do it. And that's kind of weird because Lucy's usually pretty gung-ho about things. But this was like, this is where the episodes where we learned that, like, she has some connection with all this shit that's just kind of like driving her to go, no, don't wanna.
Yeah.
Which is weird because everyone's like, usually Lucy's totally down with doing this stuff. Like, first few episodes, she was willing to, like, drive down a highway on a gurney. So, it's weird. It's the weird, Sardo.
It's very strange.
But ultimately, like, she gets convinced by David because she just needs, like, someone who cares about her to be like,
Yeah.
you can do it, and he does, and then she does it. But as she dives in, she sees some interesting data that she kind of fucks with.
Mm-hmm.
But because it concerns David, and we're starting to notice that. And if you didn't know that, it's said in the next episode. And then, whoops, Tanaka wakes up, starts talking to David because he wants to talk to David about something.
Mm.
But before that happens, he dies. And uh-oh, he's got really high-end insurance, which means Trauma Team shows up.
Yep, and when the trauma team shows up, shit gets fucked, so they gotta get out of there.
Guns blazing. We love it when the guns be blazing.
Oh, and also, they revive Tanaka, so he's not dead when they leave. He just dies for a minute.
Yeah, they revive him. Well, until everything goes to hell, because then Maine just falls on, loses it. Like he's just seeing shit all over the place now. He
Yep.
doesn't kill Dorio, I think. It's hard to tell.
Not yet.
No,
Not yet.
I don't think he killed Dorio. I think she was killed by the cops.
I'm pretty sure he kills Dorio. Like it's an accident,
Yeah.
but
It's hard to tell because both sides are shooting. So she, in fairness, both of them could have shot her.
I think she kind of gets fucked both ways.
Yeah,
and not in the fun way.
Yeah, because there's definitely like it's hard to tell because like there's no exit wounds because Dorio's a named character who gets to like die in a nice fashion.
Yeah.
And gets to die pretty, unlike Tanaka who after Main full on loses it. And God, him like lost it is weird.
I wish you could have seen my face during that whole scene where Maine just loses his marbles because like at the risk of sounding like a freak, this series has some of the better gore I've seen in a while.
Oh
Like
no.
it is
No, yeah.
it's beautiful to behold. It is, oh my God, it's so satisfying to watch. It's
Yeah.
so fun.
I think it's just I think the best way to put it is it's like this show is trigger going hard on stuff.
And I mean, me personally, this
Mhm.
this is probably a deal breaker to a lot of viewers, but I love blood and guts. And
No,
by God, they delivered on this.
Yeah, I also love Blood and Guts because like the last time I saw this much blood in a show, but made in strictly in Japan, or by in Japan, well, kind of. This was a co-production. Was probably something like Kill la Kill.
Yeah.
And guess what, Sardo? Same people.
Yeah. Yep.
Surprise, surprise. It's the same people know what they're doing. And like the differences I would say between the gore here is that like it's very cartoonish gore.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this series, so like everything is just like balls to the wall. There's blood everywhere. Bodies
Tanaka like gets like pulped. He gets like his face ripped off and splattered on one of the police officers' riot shields.
Because,
and they're like,
because Maine swung him so hard, like a club, that he killed 3 men by literally tearing their bodies off. But like, it's not super realistic, so it's not like disgusting. Because if this was like super real, it would probably be kind of off-putting.
Well, and also like bodies don't just explode like that usually.
This is also true, but the point is, this show does gore in a way that's like very visceral, but not so visceral to the point where it's like uncomfortable. It's a very hard line to walk, in my opinion.
The people are like water balloons full of red paint.
And that's wonderful. Because also, this is like not like, despite how violent this show actually is, there's there could be long periods of time between violent action.
Yeah.
So it's like very noticeable when it happens. And we mean this in a good way.
And so kind of the mental result for me was when Maine was running around killing all these guys, there's a big part of my brain that's like, no.
Maine,
And then
no.
there's a big part of my brain that's going, yes.
Maine, yes, more violence. Bring
Kill
it.
them all, Maine.
Yeah, and he basically does.
And he does.
until Max Tack shows up. But like, I also what I think is really interesting about this episode is like the part like towards the end of it, he's actually pretty lucid, and it's kind of creepy because he's just like he realizes he's fucked. Like this is it. Because, like, the last time we dealt with a guy who was going through the psychosis, as it's called in universe, like, he basically didn't say a word, but Main's just like, this is it, David. Can't do this. I'm done. It's really interesting to this. Also, because his face looks super weird, because it's, like, super heavily detailed and shaded.
It's very surreal.
On purpose, mind you, so it makes sense.
Yeah. It's intentional.
Also, we need to give credit where credit's due. This series has some great, like, just faces.
Yes.
Like, there's some just wild faces.
Well, I mean, what's the which we get to see not too long after this, the meme of David just having the worst day of his life.
Just worst day ever, David Part 2. But, yeah. What sucks about this episode is that we have to say goodbye to Maine and Dorio.
It's very sad, but at least they get to die together.
Yeah, like Dorio gets like the Viking funeral that causes Maine to explode.
And you know what? She was a Valkyrie. She deserved a warrior's burial.
Damn straight she did. Girl, a lady that large, muscular, and wearing that little clothing underneath her jacket. Her sick jacket.
Rest in peace, Dorio. We loved you.
And also rest in peace to you too, man. We also loved you.
You guys were... I'm sad.
Well, you know what, Sardo? You can always draw them living instead.
That's true.
I
can do that.
You have that power.
I do.
You has the power. But this leads to episode 7, which is where I would say the gap between 7 and 6 is like some time, probably some amount of months. And if there's one upside to the final 4 episodes, is guess who's back?
Who's back?
It's Rebecca, everyone's favorite.
Oh, we love Rebecca. Becky, you crazy bitch.
So we returned back after a few months. David got swole, got big.
He got real big.
He got real big. He went from being like this runty punk to this like giant.
He got real big, Stross.
He got the big juice in him. And we do mean big, because Jesus Christ, he went from being like this like skinny kid, like 16, 17-year-old to like he hit like his 3rd growth spurt.
He's a fucking monster truck.
Not as big as Maine. Maine was fucking huge, but this is like us like 2 steps down in terms of size.
David's still getting bigger. Well, you know he's still like working on it, so.
But yeah, so now David's got a new crew. His Kiwi's still here. Falco's back. He's the driver. Mm-hmm. And now here comes dear sweet Rebecca, ready to cause mayhem. His first job was with this guy named Julio. Mm-hmm. Who's, how would you describe Julio?
Very, like, typical shonen protagonist kind of fella.
He's very dweeby. He's extremely dweeby.
And Julio is not long for this world.
No. So they go hit the Maelstrom gang. They're, like, a gang of really, like, chromed out, cyberware-filled weirdos who clearly enjoy industrial rock and roll.
And if you don't know much about them, that's okay. They're not really important.
You can fight them in this video game, Cyberpunk 2077. But really, all you need to know is that they're running a job against them, and they just kick in the front door. And the moment they get shocked by Kiwi for, getting hacked, whoops, here comes Rebecca and David. David does some damage, but Rebecca's going full guns blazing. She got new hands. She got big hands.
And I love her big guns because they look like super soakers.
Well, like everything, like we haven't really described what Rebecca looks like because, like, to give a recap, Rebecca is like at best a 5 foot tall gremlin of a woman. She's like stated to be 20. She's just very
Yeah,
tiny.
it's and she sounds like she has the best accent. I love her voice.
She is. It's kind of hard to describe what she sounds like. I know who plays her. I'm gonna.
Hmm.
She and I know the other character I know her for playing, and it's
I
okay.
feel dumb. I can't think of like the exact accents she has, but it is like very squawky and brash
She
and
has the sound of someone who's very like there's like a roughness to her voice that it's kind of hard to explain it if you've never
I,
heard it.
I'm gonna say she sounds like if Fran Drescher and Jack Nicholson had a baby.
Kinda. She's in a whole bunch of other stuff all over the place, but she's the current voice for Oblina from All Real Monsters when she shows up because oh god, who used to play Ob- Oblina back in the day?
Oh, I don't remember.
But I know she passed away, so this is like we need someone who sounds like this, and that's exactly the voice.
But
It's a
point is,
very it's a very weird it's a very interesting sounding voice and it's wonderful.
I her voice is probably my favorite thing about her.
Yeah,
She
because
is just
alongside the fact that she has like she's weirdly colored, like she's got what color would you say her skin is?
kind of like a very pale lavenderish.
Yeah.
It's like not a human skin tone.
It's a very not normal skin tone. And she's got like weird tattoos. She's like very like neon blue and like not like neon blue, but like very pale blue, very pale pink with like kind of like turquoise hair.
Yeah, kind of greenish. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like or
She
like I guess maybe cyan might be the color.
ma- maybe she's like not
She's got the same hair color as Hatsune Miku.
she's a sparkle dog.
Yeah, she has like yellow eyes with pink whites. It's very she doesn't look natural.
Affectionately, she's a little freak.
Yeah, she's a little freak. It's not an unappealing design. She just doesn't look normal.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it. She does not like you have Lucy who kind of has like multicolored hair or like
But, like Lucy's more just like kind of a
she
like
looks
she's an alternative girl.
yeah.
You would see her at like a punk show or something. I
Yeah,
don't
like
know.
Lucy looks like weird in the normal way where it's like, "Oh, you clearly done something with your hair and you got odd tattoos and stuff." And then there's Rebecca who doesn't look like a normal person ever would.
And doesn't act like a normal person
No,
ever would.
she's loud, she's brash, and she loves the violence.
She just loves shooting people.
She does the shooties, Joker. She does a lot of it.
I love her.
I
She
know
is absolutely insane.
she is absolutely wild. And the best part is we're slowly confirming that she has a massive crush on David.
She likes David.
And the best part is she tries hitting on him and it is not working. And she's like, I can't do this. No. Yeah, Julio gets exploded by a mine and all that's left of him is an arm
Yep.
dangling from the ceiling.
Yeah,
He's not important.
he is reduced to a fine mist, save for one arm,
One arm and some paint.
and I don't think anybody was overly attached to Julio, so it's all
No,
right.
he's really more there to show that oh, David's made a name for himself without having to like show it.
Yeah.
But it's also done. He also pisses off Rebecca and she starts kicking him, which is great because she still has her tiny stubby legs. Oh, she's great. I love her. But yeah, this is more of an established. This episode is more about establishing the new norm, like
Mm-hmm.
how David is like much like Maine before him is becoming like more and more hardware than flesh. Lucy's kind of like whatever she saw in Tanaka's freaked her the fuck out. And Faraday returns and is vaguely threatening to give people jobs.
He's there and he's sinister and he has a weird eye thing going on.
I don't know what the eye thing's about, but it's neat.
Yeah.
So what we see is, hey, we've established a new norm, and then we learn Lucy's backstory.
Mm-hmm.
We learned that the reason why Lucy doesn't want to fuck with Arasaka, well, she was basically born into their service and dived into the old net, which you now learn about Raish Bartmos,
Yep.
the man who destroyed the internet.
And Lucy was basically a child soldier.
But instead of fighting people, she fought evil AIs out in the wild parts of the leftover internet that kills people.
Just like a lot of artists are doing right now on the regular internet.
It's true. You would know. It's something that you do. You're a Damon.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you.
Yes. I'm a Matt Damon. Oh, no, absolutely not.
No, you're not. You're not from Boston. You don't care about the Red Sox. Or the Patriots. Or the Boston Celtics. Down at the Boston Garden.
You're right. I don't care about any of those things.
Or the Bruins.
But Lucy has a lot of baggage. Mm-hmm. And she's kind of being forced to confront that now because that opened some old wounds for her.
Yeah.
Also, Lucy definitely got a boob job. I'm not hallucinating that, right? She got like a major boob job.
I don't think she got a boob job as much as we started seeing her naked a lot more often.
No, we've seen her naked. No, she got a boob job. Those things were thangin'.
In fairness,
respectfully.
The hard part with telling is because the one thing that like Studio Trigger, specifically stuff by Imiyashi, never really cares about being super on model.
Okay, but this isn't an on model thing.
No, no, it's not. It's like it's hard to tell because sometimes like how in Kill la Kill the character of Gagamori's height is basically can just be listed as taller than you. It's like that, but instead it's Lucy's boobs change depending on who's drawing her at that exact moment.
I mean, I'm going to respectfully disagree. They were notably bigger. But anyway,
maybe she's been drinking her milk. I don't know.
Maybe good for her.
The point is, or maybe it's because now that she's not like running around all the time, she's gotten a bit of extra fat on her, but it's went all to her breasts. I don't know.
Maybe, who knows?
I'm gonna have to do like some thorough research for you. It's like
listen, I notice things. Do not.
I'm not
doubt my ability.
You're wrong. But like, those things be thanging more now? Who knows? Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. It's hard to tell. It is hard to tell.
Anyway,
the point is, it's fun.
Yeah.
But her and David are like kind of a quasi couple, I guess.
They like each other.
Yeah, they like each other, but also it's like they're living with each other in a much nicer apartment. Good for them.
They're not sleeping on the floor on a mattress anymore. Proud of you, kids.
You're not in the gross ass slums. You're in a nice high rise apartment.
Yeah, you got marble countertop.
And guys, if you want to see David's butt, there's a lot of his butt in this episode.
It's very equal opportunity with the butts. You do see a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, we started like one episode with full frontal Kiwi nudity.
Mm-hmm.
She just came out and she's naked, and both of them like, hey, so what happened? Can't do it. Sits down naked. I'm like, all right then.
Kiwi just doesn't give a shit.
She really doesn't. I respect it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was at the end of this episode was Lucy's backstory. This is like, if I was to talk about this episode as what it is, it's a transitory episode between really the first half, which is David becoming an edge runner, to David's now an edge runner of note.
Yeah.
And this is the transition episode of where, okay, this is where we are now. This is the new norm.
He's become a man. He's making a name for himself. He's not just some young punk anymore.
He's now some large young punk.
Yeah.
He got to big. But hey.
And I'm proud of him.
Yeah, good for him. And you're proud of him. You're proud of your enlarging son.
I'm proud of my embiggening son.
He's getting to big.
Drank his get big juice.
He got his get big juice. And it's fun. Like, I think it's really neat that, like, hey, they're willing to be like, things got the bigs now. But anyway, so that's basically what happened. How did you feel about these 3 episodes, Senor?
I mean, I'm gonna say I'm not as upset as I might have been, because I did see the writing on the wall.
Yeah, I
for
would say,
Maine and for Dorio.
Like, because I know when we were watching Heike Story and Shigemori died, you were distraught.
Yeah.
Because it was very sudden.
Yeah, it was so soon.
But, like, with Maine, it's like, he's the mentor character / dad. And being a dad and mentor character in stuff like this is just guaranteed to just end badly.
It was gonna happen. I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still very sad that he's gone. I really liked his character. But, it's just like, yeah, I kind of saw this coming.
Yeah, it's like, it sucks because it's like, yeah, this was gonna happen, but it's also like, it was going to happen. And it's, obviously to set up stuff that's starting to happen to David, because David's hand is, which is literally Maine's old cannon arm.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it's like the memory of my dad, not dad.
Yeah.
And what happens next is the interesting part, which is then we move into sort of the next part, which is going to be the rest of the show. It's exciting because we got like Falco now. We got a whole new, relatively new crew, and we're gonna see next time we watch it. We're gonna see what happens. So, if you were to say about this, Sardo, would you say that this was so far good?
Yeah. Oh, totally. It's been a very enjoyable watch so far. It's cool. It's the whole roller coaster of emotion, and it's a good time.
And you know what?
I'm
It's also still very colorful, even though this was a like darker episode. It's like the difference between like Maine's like reality versus his hallucinations are super interesting.
They are.
Like, his hallucination is this bright desertscape, like it's almost like an airfield.
Yeah.
Whereas his reality is this like dingy city with neon lighting.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. Like, in the sense.
It's very cool.
Yeah. It's neat. Except for the fact where he dies.
Yeah, that's not very cool. But like they don't fuck around with the visuals here.
They don't.
It's good.
It's good. I just appreciate that this is a series that like doesn't hide away from being like, it shows that you could be like, you can have a very mature dark story and still be brightly colored, because like,
oh yeah,
David's main color is bright yellow. And that's not what I would call the scary color.
no. But they make it all work. There is a magnificent sort of palette work going on here, and it makes me want to draw. And I think that's the nicest compliment I can give anything visually.
Yeah,
It makes me
like
want to draw.
I've noticed when something catches your eye in this kind of way, it's like I draw stuff.
Yeah.
You become the draw
And
boy.
and usually the thumbnails end up looking better. I think my favorite thumbnail I've done for our show so far has been the Cyberpunk one.
It is one of my favorites. Like if we're gonna like just real quick, since we want to talk, if you want to talk about the thumbnails, it is one of my favorites. The Speed Racer one was great. Really, obviously the Spider Verse one, just because you gave yourself a really nice butt.
I gave myself a little dumpy. I think I'm entitled to do that as the
I'm
artist.
not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I appreciate the fact that you did that.
It's not Spider-Man without a little butt here and
No,
there.
it's not. I mean, you wear spandex. I expect some booty. But yeah,
Yeah.
this is definitely like visually like of the two major series that I forced us to watch because Army of the Doomstar was kind of like a last minute pivot.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like, but like the Heike's story, it was a very different sense of visual aesthetic, but also very much like how when you're here, when you're watching it, you're like, ooh, pretty.
Oh yeah.
Look at all the colors.
Just aesthetic. Wonderfully aesthetic.
And in like all the right ways. Like it's rare to watch a show where you're just like this show understands that it's visually interesting. It's making good use of like sort of the 80s-ish aesthetic of the setting.
Mm-hmm.
Cuz like what I think one of the problems of shows that of series that try to be like, "Oh, we want to be like Cyberpunk." It's all like dark colors because like Cyberpunk is a very 80s genre in a lot of way. I think that's a fair thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's just like you know like you've ever seen Johnny Mnemonic?
Oh yeah.
Like Johnny Mnemonic's a like very grimy, dark, and all that stuff,
Gritty.
and
Very
gritty.
noir.
Yeah, which is a big part of the cyberpunk stuff. But it's like I feel like people forget that the neon is important.
Yeah, and it's like it's not enough to just throw in a neon sign here and there. You need the color. You need the vibrancy. You need kind of shit assaulting your senses in the ways that, really crowded, city lifestyle kind of fucking bleh,
It needs
that
to
it
it
provides.
needs to look like Shibuya,
Yeah.
but like on like but turned up to 11, where it
It needs to
assaults the
kind of
senses.
it needs to drill into your senses. Yeah.
Like there was a poster in the background that was just real water. Which is just like such a weird advertisement, but so funny.
But probably something that would be in the future and not
Exactly.
even in the very far future.
It's just one of those things where it's just like it has to be like loud, brash, like in your face. Because that's what the 80s, that's like, if you watch a lot of 80s advertisements, that's kind of what they were.
Yeah.
Like, even when they were like goofy and weird, they also could be like very loud and brash, like especially print advertising.
Yeah.
Crossfire, stuff like that.
But Cyberpunk really nails it.
Yeah, and it's nice,
It is.
and we enjoyed it.
I'm looking forward to finishing it up and seeing where this goes. It's been a fun ride so
I
far.
mean, you look forward to it, but you could also admit that there's a bit of dread.
I mean, yeah, it's like I know it's not gonna end happy.
Yeah, I feel like unlike with Heike's story, where it's like maybe this could end slightly well, it didn't. Kinda.
Nope.
No, that hurt
Yeah.
us. That was a gut punch after a gut punch. That show came up and it's like, I am your brother, Rex Racer. We were all Speed Racer there. We're like, ah, hell.
Yeah.
Are you my brother? Are you my brother, Rex Racer? Ah. Instantly crumples.
Oh,
But the difference is, like, this one you kind of know it's not going to end well.
well,
Mostly,
yeah, because of go
like,
ahead.
you haven't seen the game yet, because I will be playing it sometime in the near future.
Hmm.
But like one of the prevailing lines throughout the game story is the phrase "wrong city, wrong people." No,
Yeah.
wrong people, wrong city.
Hmm.
Like Night City is not a nice place. Bad
No.
things happen when you live here, and that
And it's
that's what this show is about.
and it's the nature of the beast with an inherently dystopian genre like cyberpunk. Things
Yeah,
are not happy.
like
We are in the future. The future is shit.
yeah, capitalism has ruined everything. As we slowly turn our heads towards the camera, it's like we're talking to you. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's just cyberpunk as a genre does like I can't think of a happy cyberpunk story. It's like it's why people started making that stupid fake genre called hope punk.
Oh my fucking god.
Well, yeah, it's exactly what it was designed to do. It was that like, oh, I like cyberpunk as an aesthetic, but I don't like the fact that it has commentary and points out the problems of society. So I'm gonna just have a version where things are just good and happy.
I don't like this. I want to feel good about things. I don't want to consider. Ugh. Yeah. But overall, very good show.
Yeah,
Well done. Very exciting.
yeah. We're gonna follow David's adventures and see whether or not he makes it to the end or not. Though we did get mention of a certain legend. I don't know how well you know
Adam.
your cyberpunk lore, but
Oh, I know Adam Smasher.
yeah, you're a lot, and which means he's probably gonna show up, isn't he? You don't
Oh.
explicitly mention that. You don't Chekhov's gun this shit with us
Hmm.
script. The only hope is, does he show up or is he just going to be mentioned as setup? Who knows? We'll see.
Well, we will see.
Well, I know. Well, who am I saying? I've watched this already.
Yeah, I know. You've seen it.
Yeah. But, okay, so we're going to do something a little different. Sarah, what was your favorite moment of the 3 episodes that we watched?
Oh, shit. I'm thinking. That is
Oh.
a really tough call. I'm gonna say Maine's rampage. Like, Maine just fucking those dudes up.
Oh yeah, it's all not just because of how because we already mentioned how visceral it is, but it's also because like the look on his face is fucking nuts.
Oh yeah.
It's what makes it fun. It like and depressing all at the same time. It's this
And
moment of just like weird lucidity, but still going ham.
and the bits afterwards where he's kind of sort of snapping out of it a little, like, props to his voice actor for that kind of like slurry, confused tone. He's like, did I make this happen?
Was this
And
my
he
fault?
sounds was this my fault? He sounds so confused, and it is so fucking heartbreaking because like okay, without getting into too much here, as just kind of part of my lived experience, I've spent a lot of my life around people who have seizure disorders,
Mm.
and just his tone of voice reminds me so much of like somebody coming out of that, and that same like pained tone. It's fucking heartbreaking.
And in fairness, that might be legit because like one of the things that both the 2077 started going into, that one of the things about cyber psychosis is that a lot of it is probably just like people with undiagnosed mental health problems kind of being pushed to the breaking point.
Mm-hmm.
So he might actually suffer from actual seizures. That might be a legit thing. You might be onto something. Look at you.
Because like, there's cybernetics have got to fuck you up neurologically too.
Yep.
So, I mean,
And by the way, since you were asking, he's played by William Christopher Stevens,
thank you.
who's also in a whole bunch of other stuff. Let's see what else you were in, good sir. You were in. Uh, he's in a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, he was also the voice of Rude in in the new Final Fantasy VII stuff. There you go.
Well, how about that?
There you go.
But that bit was probably my favorite, both in terms of like spectacle, because damn, that was some good gore, but also like it just sad, very
Yeah,
very
no,
sad.
I think that's a good way to put it. It's both like a grand spectacle, but also great sadness at the same time.
Yeah,
Because it's just
the
like,
emotional torque is working.
yeah, it's a great example of how you've endeared us to a character, and then you've taken them away from us in a really crappy fashion. Because it's like we know how bad this shit can be.
Hmm.
But
What was your favorite scene?
it's that or Rebecca's return, only because she's just going full on auto, and it's really
Uh,
funny. It's
she's great.
it's just like she's back, she's shooting everything, and then she's like, "Oh, out of lead. Here comes the shotguns. Now with my new hands, I can handle the recoil because I'm tiny." But yeah, I think it's probably also Maine's Rampage, because that's like it's the best example of just depressing combined with like looking awesome while you do it.
It's exhilarating, but
Yeah,
it's also, Dad, no.
exactly. It's that combination of this is a bad thing and it's sad, but also it's done in a way that makes it look neat.
The inverse of a sentiment I hear a friend of mine express sometimes is, it sucks but it's cool.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid that because it's like it's cool in the sense that it's neat,
Well,
but also
good, cool because it looks cool.
yeah. But yeah, that was episodes 5 through 7, and we'll be doing the last 3 episodes, 8 through 10, and probably be heard again.
Yeah.
Cause it always hurts, Sardo.
It just sometimes it hurts. So, Stross, on that note, closing up Cyberpunk, gonna bring it to our next segment.
Oh,
Stross, what the hell are you watching?
I'm glad you asked. Currently, I'm not watching much. Well, I've been watching a lot of dog videos all of a sudden. That's what I was doing right before recording. It's like, I'm gonna watch the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're big dogs. But I've also just been I'm preparing myself to watch My Adventures with Superman. I've been putting it
Nice.
off, but mostly because I'm not really sure where I can legally watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't have the normal cable, Sardo.
Oh, you might check out you might check out YouTube.
Yeah, it might be on YouTube. It's what we're in a weird era where things just kind of go on random things.
Yeah,
But
I think you'll like it.
oh, I bet I would, because all the clips I see of it, I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I want out of my Superman show. We turned it into a shoujo.
Yes.
And what have you been watching? The hell have you been watching?
Well, I guess in terms of reading, I finally picked up the Golden Kamuy manga.
Oh
I've
yeah.
really been wanting to read it because it's like, this is
Oh.
exactly the kind of thing I would like.
Oh, absolutely. This is a thing where almost all the characters put into it are large middle-aged looking men.
Yes. And so I'm very excited about that. I still need to really get reading it, but I also, in terms of watching,
Hmm.
I recently rewatched John Carpenter's The Thing,
Oh, that's lovely. I love that movie.
one of my comfort movies. I absolutely adore
Something
it.
no one else, almost no one else would say for 1,000, Alex. Respect.
It's, I mean,
No,
it's just such a good movie.
I respect that.
I I don't know. There's just something about like Kurt Russell and his long, beautiful hair. And, I don't know. We need to watch that together sometime. We
I
need to
do
do a
think
John
so.
Carpenter
I
episode.
agree. My other favorite John Carpenter movie, by the way, is Big Trouble in Little China.
Very good choice.
Yes.
But I really enjoyed that. Glad to have watched it again. Up next is Prince of Darkness, one of his three Apocalypse trilogy movies, in line with The Thing, In the Mouth of Madness, and
I'm trying to remember
Prince of
that's
Darkness.
with how that one's considered because John Carpenter movies range from either amazing to like sometimes
I
not
I
amazing.
loved Prince of Darkness.
Well,
It's not
yeah,
everybody's thing.
yeah, but I'm glad it's your thing, so that's good at the very least. At least
Well, I
you
mean,
will enjoy it.
oh, there was the one fucking freaky scene where like there's the guy outside the window and he's got like the weird voice and he's like, I've got some bad news for you. Pray for death. And then he's like made of worms and bugs and he like collapses into a pile of bugs and it's all a million times more genuinely awful looking than I'm making it sound. It's awful
Oh
looking
yeah.
in terms of great looking.
Oh, it looks great. It's just it will upset the average person.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting into October. We've got to talk about some more spooky shit.
Oh, absolutely. This is the time to do it. I'm not
Yeah.
even like the biggest spookum guys, but like it's Halloween. You
We're
gotta
almost
you gotta eat
we're
the
we're a month.
lettuce.
Drink the bleach.
Drink the bleach.
We're a month away from October, and in that case, when that happens, it is my sleepover, and I get to choose the movie.
Yeah.
But
Well, unless it's Big Trouble in Little China, because we're gonna be forced to watch that.
that's
That
fair.
one's not that spooky. I just think that movie's neat.
Oh, it's a good John Carpenter movie,
Oh
so
yeah.
I'm not opposed. But I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah, I think so.
What a ride it has been so far, and there's still more on the way. Stross, I can't wait.
Neither can I. I will say, as also this is a closing thought on tonight. I'm glad we get to watch good and bad things on here.
Yeah.
I would say, as because we endlessly quote that one Neil Breen bit way too much.
Isn't that corrupt? Well, Persona 5 is basically just pass through.
Yeah.
I will not rest until everybody has heard my personal theory on that. And my theory is that the Persona 5 writers stole from Neil Breen. But
Wait, which one came
it's
out
been
first?
fun.
That's actually a legitimate question. I think they came out the same year because that would just be hilarious.
Oh. Um, okay, I'm gonna do some Googling real quick
Yeah,
actually before we go.
I'll do the other half of the googling. I'll look at when Persona 5 came out. Hold on, we need to know because I know that was 2016. Okay, Persona 5 was released in 2006.
2016!
Wow. Oh, great minds do think. Wait, this was September 15th. When was that one?
Um, I'm gonna be real, it's hard to say. I'm not getting a month.
Well, you know what? That's not the point. The point is,
What is
the point is, great minds think alike.
truly? Wow.
Oh Lord, wild shit.
Uh, it's been good. Uh, yeah, I'm Sardo. That's Stross. We are the Skeleton Crew. You can find us here on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify. Uh, where else, Stross?
We're on the RSS feed. I think Samsung or something.
hmm you can find us where most fine foods are sold. Uh, we also have a Patreon, and
Yeah. We thought about uh adding this one to the Patreon, and we were like, we don't talk during this one.
see, here's the problem with all your recommended episodes, Strauss. They're unprofitable because unlike when we watch something shitty, all we do when we watch something good is sit and watch in respectful silence.
It's true.
And that's bullshit.
It's true. Like the problem is when we watch stuff you make us watch, we're usually watching goofy shit that's
hmm
funny, and when it's my stuff, it's like we're watching stuff that, well, okay, Metalocalypse is inherently goofy, but not the same kind of goofy.
But it's still a goofy we sit in respectful silence for.
Well, I would say somewhat respectful science. We may have there was giggling.
Well, yes, but you're supposed to giggle.
It was the giggles.
But Skeleton Crew Pro is where you can find us. You can pay us $2 a month to watch our content. It's
Early.
very fun.
I would say we do episodes early, but considering the turnaround time of this is like a couple of days, it's like it wouldn't be very early.
Yeah.
Like we record today and then we do things the next day.
That's our problem. We're just too efficient.
Apparently, something that has never been probably said about any of us ever.
And you can follow Strauss on social media, on Twitter at Almighty Strauss, and on Blue Sky now.
Yeah.
Uh, and on Twitch, you should follow Strauss on Twitch. He streams Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Usually.
And yeah, usually. But
Dude.
you should follow him. He does
Yeah.
really good streams. What do I mean sometimes? I'm usually there nowadays.
You basically live there now, and I don't mind. It's like, this is the cat that showed up. It's my cat now.
Yeah. Yeah, I just showed up in the sink one day and you're like, "Okay."
All right, this is my cat now. His name is Mr.
It's a real
Sparkles.
It's the real cool's cat. You can follow me on Twitter at Autopsy Garlands. Marquis Belial is my art account, and on Blue Sky at Uncle Death with a K instead of a C, and on Twitch also at Uncle Death with a K instead of a C. I draw on Mondays.
Yeah, and I'm there like a cat
And
that now lives in
and
Sardo's house.
it's true. You are there, and Strauss provides entertainment, and I draw.
While you
It's a
draw,
lot
I
of fun.
provide running commentary until towards the end of the
Yes.
night when the alcohol finally hits.
But we have a good time, and you should go. You should maybe follow me on there. I don't
Yeah.
know. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not your dad.
Unless you want us to be, where in that case we will list you as a dependent on our taxes.
But with all that said, thank you so much for listening, everybody. Good night, take care, and be well.
Yeah, be well.